Hello, my beauties. Welcome back to a new video. Welcome to today's vlog. I almost said welcome to today's vlog. I've been vlogging a ton for Vlogmas lately. Welcome to a new video. This is actually not a vlog. This is a shop my stash video. I'm doing my makeup to film another video after this, so I thought I would just record it with you guys. And I thought it would be fun to do a shop my stash and just play with some of the makeup that I haven't used in a while, some products that are just sitting at the back of my collection and haven't been touched. I really enjoy filming these videos. Hopefully you guys like watching them. If you do, then just stay tuned. We're gonna get started. Okay, so my hair is still wet, damp, I guess. I'm trying to let it air dry and hopefully it will be dry by the end of this vid. Apparently I only have one of these clips, so that's not gonna work. Let's try something else. So I haven't done any skincare or anything yet. I thought it would be fun to use some skincare that I haven't used in a while. My skin's been quite dry recently. It's starting to get very cold and windy here. So I thought I would pull this guy out. This is the Welleda Ultra Rich Cream, Welleda Skin Food. I bought this because of Alana Davidson, I think probably 2 years ago. So hopefully it's still good, but I figure let's give it a go here. A little bit of oil coming out the top, but I can mix that back in. I haven't used this since last winter. My skin is not typically dry. It can be normal to oily sometimes, and then on the drier side in the winter. And this cream she's thick and she's rich, so it's not something that I reach for or need all of the time. But today's definitely feeling like a good day for it. What I remember about it too, it works really nicely as a primer. It's just a really, really good base for foundation. All right, that felt like maybe a little bit too much product. So instead of continuing on with my face and going in with foundation, I think I'm just gonna let that have some time to soak into my skin a little bit, and we'll do some eyes to start. So I'm gonna start by priming my lids. I'm gonna use my Rare Beauty primer. So I was filming the other day and I pulled out this palette. This is the Tilbury Icons palette. I just was using the black out of it in my previous video, but this used to be like my favorite palette of all time and I haven't used it in so long. So I was thinking maybe we could play with this today. I'm feeling neutrals. I'm feeling shimmery, neutrally, like bombshell. I think we'll play with some of these like golds and browns in here a little bit. But before we do that, there isn't really a good shade in here for transition and like blending. So I am just gonna take a little bit of bronzer and kind of work that into the crease. Oh yeah, I'm gonna try something new today that I don't think I've ever done before. I'm gonna take a little break from the eyeshadow and take this Sephora 12-hour colorful contour eye pencil in the color Tiramisu. So something that I feel like I see lots of pro makeup artists doing on Instagram is starting with eyeliner. So before they go in with powder shadow, they go in with a liner and blend it out. And it's gonna act as like, I don't know, a base, create some depth for the powder shadows that we put on top, I guess. Yeah, I see this a lot, so I've been meaning to try it. If you guys hear noises in the background, Will's making dumplings. So yeah, I'm just running over top of that with my pencil brush and just really creating a soft smoke. And then I'll repeat that over here. So I'm feeling like this maybe wasn't the best pencil to do this with because it's waterproof, so it's gonna go on and like it's not really meant to like blend and kind of soften, but I think I've done an okay job of it. Definitely if you're using a waterproof liner and you're doing this, you're gonna wanna go one eye at a time or it's just gonna completely set on you. I'm really feeling like a soft kind of beigey shimmer, so I feel like this color right here is gonna be perfect. It's definitely got a little bit of a gold tone to it as well, which is, I feel like, gonna work really well with this look. So I'm gonna dip into there and take that color all over the lid. Take this beautiful blending brush here from Rougher, and I'm gonna dip into the matte brown on the bottom here. It definitely looks like this is the most used shade in here. It has the biggest like indent in it. And I'm gonna pop that on the outer corner. I'm just tapping the pigment on. I'm not in focus. And then once I've got that kind of tapped onto the outer corner with whatever's left on the brush, I'm gonna start kind of blending up and out and into the crease. And I usually like to take my darker crease shade right into the inner socket of my eye here. But I think I'm gonna just stop right here before we get to the front of the eye. And just to blend out that color, I'm gonna take the same bronzer that I used in my crease before and just go lightly over the edges. And with this color, I will bring it into this corner because that's just gonna look more like a natural shadow, not like I've brought my warm brown eyeshadow into that corner, if that makes sense. Okay, I feel like it already looks so pretty. I have this tendency when I'm filming YouTube videos to want to use like 10 different shades on my eyes and do so many steps because that's how I used to do my makeup, but I never really do my makeup like that anymore. Things are more simple these days. I think for now, I am just gonna leave it at those two colors. That brown liner underneath is definitely giving a nice anchor point for everything. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I wish I had a brown liquid liner right now so I could do a really thin brown line right up against my lashes, but I don't. I do have a black liquid liner, but this is so old. And this is the old Charlotte Tilbury Feline Flick before she redid the packaging. And this is so hard to use, but should I do it? Let's try. So I'm literally just taking this and stamping a tiny thin line of liquid liner right up against my lashes. Okay, good. I feel like that worked. It just gave a little bit of extra definition right at the lash band there. Lash band, lash line. I'm gonna give my lashes a nice curl here. I don't know if I'm gonna wear falsies today. So I'm gonna see how much volume and length we can get with just mascara, and then I might add like a little half lash if I feel like I want to. For mascara, I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Full Fat Lashes mascara. I love this, but I always reach for my Merit tubing mascara because it's just so good at being long wear. Like it doesn't smudge or flake or do anything. It just stays put. I'm just always drawn to it, but this mascara gives the lashes such a beautiful separated but full and long kind of fluffy look. I'll decide on the lashes a little bit later, but I do have quite a bit of fallout from the shimmery shade that I used on my eyelid. So I'm gonna just clean up under my eyes here real quick. This sits on my desk in front of me every single day and I never use it. I never put it on. I bought this because I was so excited about it. I love the packaging, the branding. Samantha Ravindal is just like a YouTube OG. And I love Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, and this was made to be a similar product. But for some reason, I just don't reach for it like I do my Flawless Filter. I have a full comparison video comparing the two of them. And this one just is a little bit more metallic, a little bit less wet looking, although it still does give that beautiful like wet, glowy effect to the skin. But for some reason, I just don't reach for it. This is the Auric Glow Lust. I have mine in the shade Morganite. I paid so much for this with the exchange rate and the duties and everything to get it here from LA, and I never pick it up. So now's a good chance. I'm going to apply this to basically the high points of my face. So the tops of the cheekbones and my forehead. Really give that extra super super glowy look to the skin. See, look how, like, really, it is gorgeous. I just, for some reason, never reach for it. Maybe it's the packaging. The big Charlotte Tilbury wand is so nice to just slide onto your face. I don't know what it is. And I've been debating in my mind since we started filming which foundation to use. I was originally thinking I would use the Dior Forever. This used to be my favorite foundation ever. I have since, I don't know, my love for it has waned. It's still a beautiful foundation, but I just don't find that it sits very well in the creases of my face, especially my little smile lines. You guys know that's a sensitive area for me. But I was thinking I would maybe use this, but then I remembered about my little Merit sticks. These are the Perfecting Complexion sticks, and I loved these. I have them in two shades. I have like a deeper shade for summer and a lighter shade for winter. And I'm feeling like maybe I'll go in with this guy today. I didn't wear this a ton this summer. I was mostly using my Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer this year. I did wear this to my bridal shower. It was like the hottest, most humid day of the year, and we were outside, and it held up pretty well. It just looks so natural on the skin, but gives such nice coverage. And I do like to apply this with a brush rather than a beauty blender compared to pretty much any other foundation. I prefer to use a sponge. This just looks like skin. I've also seen them advertising on Instagram that they actually increased the size of this, so they gave more product and kept the price the same, which, like, when do you ever hear of that happening? A company giving you more and not charging you for it? Like, that's next level. That's some badass shit that I am here for and down to support. You guys know I love Merit. Pretty much everything that they've ever sent to me, I have really enjoyed. Okay, that looks gorgeous, and it went on so nicely over top of the Wella Skin Food and the Auric. Just does such a nice job of taking out the redness. Okay, I am really happy with the way that my skin is looking right now. Just a little bit of extra redness happening around my nose, so I'm gonna just add a little bit more. I only have two concealers in my collection right now. So I have the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Concealer and the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. These are both beautiful concealers in completely different ways. This is very full coverage and this is very light, natural coverage. This is very matte. This is very glowy. I love this for like a no makeup look, and I love this on a day where I'm wearing a foundation. I'm feeling with how glowy and natural my skin is looking right now. I am gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury one, even though I did do a full face of foundation. I just want to see how this concealer looks with this foundation, because I have a sneaking suspicion that it's going to be a really great combination. So I'm going to use it under my eyes and then to spot conceal any areas that need a little bit of extra coverage. So I'm going to use my sponge to blend this one out. Okay, I am loving the way that my skin is looking right now. I feel like it's been a long time since I've done a combo of primers, foundations, and concealer that have made me just be super happy with the way that my makeup looks, and this is some next level beautiful glow. I'm really excited, you guys. So for powder, I do usually go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. So to switch it up today, I'm going to use this guy. This is the Hourglass Veil Translucent Powder. I usually just take this with me when I'm traveling because I do prefer to travel with a loose powder over a pressed one. But we'll use it for today's video. So I'm just going to take it on my sponge and press it first into the area underneath my eyes where I just put that concealer down. And then I'll take a little bit of this as well, just on this front little part of my cheek here. I like to kind of take it up and across my nose and over to the other side. So I just have some of the product in the cap. I dip the sponge in here and then I dip it into this side as well to kind of take off any excess. I'm gonna use this to really set my smile lines. And then I will just use a little bit of this in the center of my forehead here as well. Just being super selective with my powder placement, you guys. I really want to maintain as much of this glow as possible to avoid looking oily and like too glowy. If you set the center of your face like I'm doing now, you're gonna get the best of both worlds. And I always powder my entire nose because my nose gets so oily and sweaty no matter what I'm doing. So I like to just have a little bit of extra powder there to kind of lock it in. Next up, we're gonna do a little bit of bronzing. So for bronzer today, I'm gonna come into the Nudegasm face palette. I haven't used this in a little while. I've mostly been using either my cream bronzers or the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush bronzer. So I want to try another technique that I've been noticing online lately. The way I usually do my bronzer is I like to kind of bring it on my temple, like all through here, and then I'll bring it kind of across and then onto this temple, down onto the cheeks, and then underneath the jaw and on my neck. But I've been seeing a lot of bronzer just happening right up here on the forehead. Obviously, it depends on your face shape what placement is going to look best on you, but I've never tried this before. I'm just taking a mixture of both the bronzers in this palette, by the way. I've tried this before where I'm just like really sticking to the top of my hairline here. I might just blend it down a little bit so it's not such a harsh line. I feel like I've just gone now and done what I usually do, but we'll just leave it at that. Bronze up my cheeks with this as well. Being super gentle and light-handed with this. I don't want to move the product around underneath. It's not really a foundation that sets on its own, and I didn't set this area with powder, so if I press too hard here, we're gonna get splotches of bronzer sticking to the makeup, and it's gonna kind of move that product underneath and take away some of the coverage. So just a really, really soft, light hand. This brush is shedding like crazy. This is such an expensive NARS brush. I guess it's the natural bristles that dry out over time. This is such a pretty bronzer. It definitely has like a red tone to it. It almost looks like a blush on this part of my face here. I wore this bronzer on my wedding day, actually. I remember thinking that it was so cool toned, and I still haven't seen any of the pictures, and I'm paranoid about how my makeup's gonna look in the professional photos. I have this fear that my bronzer was too cool toned, too ashy, and I'm gonna look kind of dead, but seeing it here, it's not. It's got a lot of warmth to it. I'm so happy. I'm in love with the way that this is going. I'm so happy. Like, look at my skin. Let's finish up these eyes real quick, shall we? I'm gonna come back into, actually, let's keep this bronzer out. I'm gonna go back in here, mix those two colors together, and run that underneath my lower lash line. Rather than using a brown eyeshadow, this is just gonna make it look a little bit more natural under there because of the tones of the bronzer versus the tones of that warm brown shadow that we have on top. I think that's good. I'm tempted to do a light waterline, but I do that all the time. So I think to change it up a little bit, I'm gonna take this brown liner. I pretty much only ever line my waterline with a nude or a black. I never really do brown. So use the same eyeliner that I used on top and just come into my waterline here with it. And then tightline with that as well. Do the same thing just on the top. And then a little bit of mascara on my lower lashes as well. Because of how much I'm loving this look, I feel like I need to do it justice by putting on an eyelash. So I'm gonna do that. Last time I wore lashes, I just didn't really love the full lash. So I'm thinking, I have these little Ardells. These are the ones I was wearing in my last video. Let's do a little half lashy. So I just have these lashes that I've worn and used before, and I'm gonna trim them just gonna kind of trim off section by section and then test it, see how I like the length. And then if I want less, I can always cut off more, but I don't want to cut off too much right off the bat. I think we can cut off one more section, and I'm cutting from the back. Yeah, that's perfect. I still don't have glue, so I need to get my glue out of my kit again. 1 second. Just gonna measure the other side here as well. Both your eyes are different from one another, you guys, so you can't just measure one side and then cut the other lash the same amount. You gotta do each one separately. All right, I was very impatient and I did not let this glue dry for long enough, so I've just kind of placed that there, and then we'll fidget around with it in a minute once the glue dries a bit more. Okay, lashes are on. I do want to give those a bit of a fluff and curl, but I'm gonna let that glue dry a little bit longer before I do that. Let's get these brows on. I don't have anything different to use for my brows, you guys, unfortunately, so I am just gonna do my same old same here. If I can find it, my desk is a mess. We're gonna clean it together on my channel coming up very soon, whenever I can get myself into the mood to clean this room. So I'm just taking my ABH brow freeze here, combing that through, and then the Glossier brow gel. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're almost done. I feel like my eyes are just missing a little bit of shimmer on the inner corner, so I'm gonna go into the Carly Bible BH Cosmetics palette and use my favorite highlighter, this guy right here, and add that to the inner corner. I don't think I'm gonna use any highlighter on my face. Honestly, I'm so in love with the glow that's happening here from the Auric and the Welleda Skin Food that I think that's just really the look I want. I did try something recently that I feel like could actually go really well with this look. I have this palette of Dior highlighters, and the colors are a little bit too deep for me. Not all of them, but you know, there's depth happening here. So normally what I do is I mix these two together, or I just use the lightest shade, and those are kind of the only highlighters that I use from this palette. But I was looking on here the other day and I noticed that all the highlighters actually have different finishes. So there's a glitter, a metallic, a shimmer, and a sheer, which I didn't realize before. So I used this gold metallic one when I did my makeup the other day, just because I wanted to experiment with the different finishes in here, and I really liked the way that it looked. So I'm gonna take just this gold color here and add it literally right here to like the very point, the very tippy top of my cheekbone, just so that can kind of catch the light a little bit there. See that? Oh yeah. And I feel like this kind of gold tone goes with the overall vibe of the shadows as well. Okay, just a little bit, and then just leave it at that. Like really it is a little bit too dark for my skin tone, but just for some reason I really like the look of it. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with my lips. What haven't I used in a while? Maybe a liquid lip. You know what? I saw someone on TikTok the other day and she had on like the Kylie Jenner lip from 2016. It was like that brownie, mauvey, slightly pinky, purpley toned lip that everyone was wearing a few years ago, and I was feeling nostalgic for it. So I think I'm gonna try and recreate that today. I don't know if I have everything I need to do it, but I'm gonna start with this lip pencil from MAC. This is in the color Soar. I'm gonna start by filling my lips in entirely with this. I mean, this is basically the color, isn't it? Do I need to add anything else? Maybe not. I feel like that just is the color that I'm talking about. It might be a little bit redder, but I like it. And then for blush, I did just use this in my last video, but I hadn't used it in a while before that, and I just really fell in love with the color. I'm gonna take this guy right here. This is Cheeky, again from Merit. Maybe just pop it onto the back of my sponge here and go on with that. In between my bronzer and highlighter and just mix it all in there. Oh my god, you guys, I'm in love. I love the way this turned out. Okay, we need a little bit of setting spray. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter. Now, do we think the hair dried? I feel like it dried underneath, but not up here where it was up in the clip. That's very unfortunate. I wish I had big, fluffy, wavy hair for you guys, but we're not quite there yet. But either way, here is the finished makeup look. I'm so happy with it. I love it, you guys. I haven't been this happy with my makeup in a minute. I feel like it's actually been the opposite, and I've been quite unhappy with the way that my makeup has been turning out recently. This is why I need to do videos like this, or like why just people in general need to shop their stashes. You guys, you gotta go back and use those old favorite products that we forget about because new and more exciting products come in, you know? It's like everything is so good. Like this just is my dream base right here. And these are products that I never use anymore. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I had a really good time filming this video. I'm gonna go ahead and film my next one. That video will already be up, so if you guys want to see all of the products that I've used up in my freelance makeup kit, I'll put a link to it right up here and in the description box down below. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.